Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is Mr. Mudathir from Legacy School and this is ICT. Today we're going to talk about misinformation. What is misinformation anyway? False or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive. In this lesson, we'll watch a video from the BBC. It's about misinformation related to coronavirus, how fast misinformation can spread, and how to check its accuracy. Now please pay attention because we are going to discuss about this video. And don't forget to read the closed caption at the bottom of the screen. Are you ready?
In the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, passing on information can feel like one way we can support our families and friends.
Here at the BBC, we are working very hard to make sure that everything we broadcast and publish is accurate and up to date. But there is a whole load of information out there that isn't.
And misinformation can spread fast. If a message is sent to a WhatsApp group of 20, then each of them shares it with 20 other people, and this happens 5 times, it can reach more than 3 million people very quickly. Untruths can take many forms. One of the most common we're seeing is copied and pasted messages being passed around on WhatsApp or in Facebook groups containing bad advice or fake cures. And because these are shared by a friend or trusted source, it's not obvious who wrote these messages in the first place. Often they're attributed to a vague source like a friend's friend who's a doctor, soldier, or works for the government. For example, a voice note has been spreading on WhatsApp. In it, a woman is translating advice from a colleague who has a friend working at a hospital on the Spanish island of Gran Canaria. Some of the tips are helpful, such as washing surfaces thoroughly. But the voice memo includes misleading advice as well. The speaker suggests sunlight neutralizes the virus, and that coronavirus can be killed by taking a sip of warm water every 20 minutes. There is no scientific basis for either of these claims.
If you're not sure the whole post is true, it might do more harm than good to share it. And if the source isn't easily identifiable or the story hasn't been reported elsewhere, then it really is worth being skeptical about it.
Pictures taken out of context can also be really misleading. A video from Italy was posted on Twitter showing military vehicles on the streets. There were rumours they were responding to coronavirus riots. In fact, they were returning from routine exercises that had nothing to do with the outbreak. Some of us may share information with our friends as a joke or to lighten their mood. But even if they don't take it seriously, others might. For example, a claim that lions were released in Russia to patrol the streets was taken seriously by some. It was not true. We all want to share news that we think will help others, but before you do, follow these steps. Has the story been reported anywhere else? Is it from a reliable source? Has the photo or image been taken out of context? If you're not sure, then maybe it's fake. And you can stop that information from doing harm by not sharing it any further.
If you want to check medical advice, go on the World Health Organization website. And if you feel that a story isn't real, you can always look to a reliable source like the BBC.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's ask ourselves one question. Can anyone upload information to the internet? Practically anyone can create a website. Schools, businesses, government entities and libraries create websites so people can learn more about what they do. Individuals can create personal websites or blogs to write about their families, friends, work, and any other subject. As of 2018, there are over 1.8 billion websites in the world, many of which are protected by free speech. Website owners can print anything they want, true or false, without worrying about the consequences. Alright, let's get to the main point. Here is a question. How can we check the validity of information on the internet? Here are a few points that can help. Ask yourself these questions before using resources from the internet or sending it to anyone. Is the name of the author or creator on the page? The same goes for a sender. Is his or her credentials listed? Occupation, years of experience, position, or education? You cannot take a medical advice from an engineer. Is the author qualified to write on the given topic, and why? Is there contact information, such as an email address, somewhere on the page? People who upload inaccurate information on the internet try to hide their identity so that they don't fall in trouble. Is there a link to a home page? If there is a link to a home page, is it for an individual or for an organization? If the author is with an organization, does it appear to support or sponsor the page? You can take a population count from a governmental website, but you cannot take the same advice from a clothing store, right? What does the domain name, URL, or as we call them, the website address, does it reveal about the source of the information, if anything? For example, if it's facebook.com, Facebook is not a reliable source, and therefore you cannot be sure about anything that you read over there. In conclusion, be very critical of any information you find on the web and carefully examine each site. Take a good look at every piece of information you find online and try to think and study that piece of information. Secondly, web pages are susceptible to both accidental and deliberate alteration and may move or disappear with no notice. That means whoever posted any information on the internet, it's very easy that they can come back, edit, change, or delete that content. And we have seen an example of how fast information can spread on the internet. It's not just about misinformation, it's also about personal information. We should learn not to share personal information on the internet with strangers. We should also think before sending information to someone we know personally. And you do know what personal information means. Examples: full name, picture, bank accounts, passwords, usernames, school address, playground's address, and so on. Well, here we are at the end of our lesson. Lastly, I've got an assignment for you. Here is your assignment. From the BBC video, a voice note was sent on WhatsApp. What was the inaccurate advice? How do you think information spreads so fast in our current days? If you have a friend who lives in Japan and you send them a message, in less than 2 seconds they will receive that message. How do you think that happens? Should we completely ignore advice that has no scientific basis? From the voice note in the video, it says that sipping warm water every 20 minutes has no scientific basis that could keep the virus away from you. What do you think? Should we completely ignore that piece of advice? Please discuss with your family. What harm could come if we continue to share inaccurate information? For example, if you receive a message from a friend, it's very easy to share that piece of information or that message to another friend. What harm could come if we continue to share inaccurate information? Think about it. All of these, you can either write them on Microsoft Word document or you can just simply write them on a piece of paper and take a picture and send it to me. Or you can just write down on Seesaw itself. Well, that is it. This is the end of the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something from that. Till the next lesson, do take care and stay at home. Bye!